Yo, what's going on? Let me turn this down. Hopefully y'all can still hear me. I don't want to turn it all the way off. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Gonna wait a couple of seconds until the notification goes out. Then I'll kind of get started, jump in. What's going on? What's going on? Ellen, what's going on? All right, there goes the notification. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. This is Edward Williams, founder and creator of Health by Any Means Necessary. Want to hop in here real quick. Type 5 if y'all can hear me and see me all right. I have my air conditioner on right now. I don't want to turn it off because, like we say back home, I don't want a monkey. So I want to keep it on, but I want to make sure y'all can hear me. I just got done with the bike ride. And apparently, man, not apparently, I've always known this, but, when I'm outside and I'm in nature, my best ideas and thoughts comes to me. So what's going on? What's going on? Latanya, what's going on? Kiona, Amari, what's going on, Amari? Leslie, what's going on? Ellen, Bonanza, Jay, Jeffrey, what's going on? Yo, y'all do me a favor. Go ahead and share this video real quick for me. Share this video. I want to have a conversation. So the title of this one, I told you I'm kind of playing with this idea of a podcast, calling it Health Defense Network. And while I'm testing it out, I figured I'd go ahead and put it on camera. So this is going to be season 1 or episode 1, season 2. Nope. Episode 2, season 1. And this one is titled, A House Divided Cannot Stand, and Neither Can a Body. So I've been kind of recently sharing my story, aspects of my story. And it's strange because I feel like it's only now. I've been out the military since 2007. And it feels like it's only right now I'm able to appreciate a lot of the obstacles and the adversities that I dealt with or went through while I was in the military personally. Not like, war or anything like that, but just personally, like the transition that was taking place. And I remember, I told you all about, being pulled aside by my sergeant. And one of the things he said to me when he was pulling me aside, because I was just, doing whatever. And like I told y'all, I didn't see a problem with it. I just kind of thought, me being reacting to certain things on site whenever it took place, I thought that was fun. I thought that was, what a man was supposed to do. And I remember him calling me emotional. He told me, I was behaving emotional, and that offended me because I'm like, emotional. I feel like he was kind of trying to take a jab at me. But he was right. If anyone has the ability to do something and get you to response in a way that they know you're going to respond, then they control you because of your emotionality. And so when he said that, I always had these, comebacks. I was like, well, I only did that because of this. He was like, you're emotional. I said, well, because he did this. He's like, you're irrational, impulsive, and emotional. And I mean, every single time he's saying something like that, it's like getting popped in the face and punched in the chest and in the stomach. And he's like, you have to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. I was like, how am I supposed to stop him for doing this when I have to do that? He's like, once again, it is your fault. And when he said that, I had this strange feeling that just came over me. I was like, even though I rejected him saying that it was my fault and everything that happens in my life is my fault and my responsibility, even though I rejected it, I felt that it was right. And I was like, I need some time to think about this. And so I thought about it. Days went on, I thought about it, and I came around to the point where I started to see life like that. And that was a huge pivot point for me in my life, where I started taking ownership of my life and started taking responsibility for everything that was happening in my life, whether I liked it I wanted it or I didn't like it, and I rejected it. I started taking responsibility of it, and I was taking ownership of it. And so once that started happening, I started moving differently. And my last year and a half in the military, I almost became unrecognizable to people who knew me before that year and a half, because you could tell that you were now looking at a man on a mission. Wasn't really clear what the mission was, wasn't really clear, exactly how to get there, but you can tell that I was focused. And I was completely different from what I was doing before, where I was distracted. Had multiple things going on. I was trying to go over here, dealing with this, person, going out to the clubs, spending money over here, dealing with that, just all over the place. But the results were always the same. Waking up frustrated, waking up trying to figure out how I'm going to get to this goal that I have, waking up trying to figure out, like, when is this going to get better? Day after day after day. Frustration, anger, over and over and over. But when I became focused, I wasn't exactly sure what that goal or objection was, but I knew it had to be better than this. I knew I need to start stacking up certain things. I knew I need to start cleaning house. I knew I need to start working on myself. And so even though I wasn't clear about what exactly I needed to do specifically, I knew I needed to improve myself. And so that's what I started doing. I was working 3 jobs at the time. I had the military job, and then I had 2 other jobs where I was moving furniture. I was furniture mover for 2 other places in the town. And so literally, once again, back to sleeping like 3 to 4 hours at a time. But that was no problem because, once again, I was focused. And it was like an out-of-body experience at one point, because I'm looking at where certain things were at a year and a half ago at that time and where they were at now. And I'm like, yo, a lot has changed in a year and a half. And it changed because I got focused. Before, I was divided. I was everywhere. I was distracted. And that division and that distraction amongst myself got me those results of being frustrated, low. I don't want to say depressed, but like maybe it was, I don't know. But it got me those results. And so I say all that to say this because, once again, I'm on this bike ride, and I'm also working on the book, and there's certain things that I'm putting in the book. The book is going to be on laws, and it's going to be on laws of health that I'm making for the community. And right now, I'm hatching out this idea of division amongst the body. And so, of course, one of a very popular quote, a biblical quote is a kingdom divided amongst itself will be ruined, and a body divided amongst itself cannot stand. It will fall. And so let's bring that down to health. When you eat something, if it's a whole food item, if it's something that has vitamins and nutrients, fiber, some water in it, when that food breaks down in your body is completely aware of everything that's going on, and it's in alignment with that food that you're taking in because it's whole foods. It recognizes the combination of the protein, the fat, the fiber, the potassium, the calcium. It recognizes that profile. All of it makes sense. And so when the body goes to break it down, it's a very easy and calm breakdown because, once again, it's natural to the body. It is in alignment with health. Now, I want you to take that same idea and let's look at how the body responds when we eat something like a donut or drink soda. Those food items, the refined carbohydrates, the refined processed foods, they are stripped of the whatever vital nutrients it should have in it. It's no longer there. The minerals are gone, the vitamins are gone, whatever vitamins are in there are synthetic. The fiber is completely gone. And so when it breaks down or when it enters the body's like, This is a very strange ratio. High amount of sugar, high amount of fat, no fiber, no magnesium, no potassium. That's not a balanced equation. That's not a balanced profile. In order for us to break that down, we're going to have to now pull on a lot of our own resources, our own minerals to break that down. And so when you take that donut, bagel, soda, or whatever like that in, and it goes to your GI tract, it goes to your stomach, in order to break down food, that is a very metabolically demanding process that needs to take place. And the faster the body has to break that food down requires even more energy. And so the body has to redirect a lot of the blood flow to your GI system in order to make that happen. So your body understands that it's right now you have, like I told you, you have fight or flight, you have feed or breed. And when it's in that feeding state, it's going to redirect the blood from your brain. It's going to redirect the blood from your legs. It's going to redirect the blood from your arms. It's going to redirect blood from other areas that are not needed at that time when you're breaking down food. Breaking down food is a very metabolically demanding process. And so a lot of his energy is now going to be focused on the breakdown of that food. But if that food is something that is highly processed and highly refined, some of that energy now has to be directed to what they call decreasing the inflammation. And if that food is highly processed and refined and the sugar is up, a lot of that energy is now going to have to be split again into bringing down that sugar. If that inflammation and high blood sugar is requiring a lot of the minerals such as the magnesium and the potassium and the calcium to break down those foods and actually excrete it out the body, once again, that's another division amongst the already the energy in your body. And so there's a lot of division going on when you're taking in food just in general, but when you're taking in processed foods, refined foods, the division is multiplied. And so you now have this body and this process going on that is decreasing the blood flow to other areas of the body in order to deal with this metabolic chaos of breaking down the processed foods. Now picture doing that not once a day, not twice a day, but 4 to 5 times a day, 6 times a day, and then add a soda or a juice in between those meals. And now on top of that, I want you to try to picture carrying out your purpose. I want you to try to picture accomplishing your goal. When you have so many distractions, because when you're bringing in the processed foods, these are distractions to your body, because that, once again, that's a metabolic havoc that is taking place in your body. High blood sugar, your body doesn't want to deal with that. High insulin levels, your body's not wanting to deal with that. Inflammation, your body's not wanting to deal with that. A lot of people question why after they eat, they feel sleepy. Because you just took in all of this sugar and your body's like, yeah, we gotta bring this down ASAP. High blood sugar is an emergency. We need a majority of the blood flow to come to the GI system so we can do this work, so we can bring down this high blood sugar. But you had already told yourself before the meal that you were going to work on this project. You ate the meal and you're like, I'll get to the project tomorrow. I'll accomplish my goals tomorrow. And you do this day after day after day. You keep kicking the can down the road day after day after day. And so what you have is the mind wanting to accomplish this, and the body would love to go along and help you accomplish that goal. But because of the distraction, it has to now, it's like the body's like, you go ahead and keep on trying to make the goal happen. We got to go deal with this low-grade inflammation and this insulin spike and this glucose. We got to go deal with the constipation. We have to go deal with the lack of fiber. We have to go deal with the fact that you're not hydrated. We have to go deal with the fact that you're low in potassium. We have to do all of this work because of the unhealthy food that you're bringing in. But not only do we have to do all of this work, we don't even have the resources. And so we don't have the vitamin D, we don't have the magnesium, we don't have the calcium, we don't have a lot of the resources that we use. And so what would have took us maybe like an hour or two to do, it's now going to take us a whole entire day because we don't have the resources. We now have to go and talk to the brain and give you these weird cravings. We have to force you to lay down so that you can stop moving because you moving is using more energy, and we don't really have this. We have a very impoverished situation going on because we lack so much resources, and you choose to not bring in more resources, but you expect to accomplish those goals. We're divided. That is a body divided. How are you going to see your vision of what you said that you want to do in this lifetime or your purpose when the arteries feeding your retina is they're literally leaking because of the high blood sugar and because of how the blood sugar affects those smaller arteries, not just in your eyes, but really in all of your kidneys, your toes. How are you going to see your vision? And actually, I should say just sight, because vision and sight are two different things. This is just me going off on a side note, but you know, your sight is a function of your eyes. I can see my hand in front of me. I can see the phone right here in front of me. I can see y'all comments. That is a function of my eyes. Your vision is a function of your heart. Your vision is something that comes from, the heart. And when that is pretty much your purpose. It's something that you have, and this is all, okay, let me back up. This is what I believe, okay? Like, this is my opinion, this is what I believe. And this is my program. Like, this is how I roll. This is why I'm so aggressive and persistent with telling you the healthcare system don't give a damn about you. They plan on medicating you for the rest of your life and getting all the money they can get out you. Like, this is why I say the way I say it, why working in the system and be persistent about it. And why I stay up late at night building this business and putting out this work. That's my vision, my purpose. But, and that comes from the heart. And so those are the two differences between, your vision and your sight. But anyway, I digress. So how are you going to carry out the works that you have set for yourself, if you have any set for yourself? If you're dealing with the numbness and you're dealing with the blurred vision, but you have goals of building this business, or you have goals of passing this exam, or you have goals of moving up in the company, or you have goals of becoming a teacher, or you have goals of opening up this fundraiser or this organization. You have goals of raising a healthy family, healthy kids, of goals of being the best husband you can be, of being the best wife you can be. You have goals of doing these things. Whatever your goals are, whatever your purpose and your vision is, if you have those, how do you expect to effectively move forward on that path to accomplishing those things if your body is literally divided amongst itself? If your body is not in alignment with your vision or your goal of moving up in the company, because we have to take certain medications that make us feel sleepy, that is division. And a lot of this division can be traced back to the distraction. The distraction is the standard American diet, the foods, the drinks. When you get distraction out of the way, you now have time to focus on what's important. You now have time to take all of those, the resources that you have, and build upon them. You now have the freedom to say, all right, we don't have to break down, this crazy amount of food. We don't have to deal with the leaky blood vessels. We don't have to deal with the medication and the side effects. Like, we don't have to deal with those things. But we do have to deal with this goal that we're working on. But now when you go to deal with the goal, it's all hands on deck. Because the GI system is like, yo, we empty, we done repaired because you fasted and you didn't eat after 6 o'clock. We appreciate that. You also gave us fiber. So we were able to get rid of a lot of stuff, that was here for like years. We were able to get rid of those stuff. We're no longer working around the clock because you decided to stop eating at midnight, which was making us work around the clock. We weren't able to take a break. The eyes are like, yo, we Gucci because you lowered the blood sugar. We're no longer blurry. We can actually see clear. The kidneys are like, oh my goodness, thank you for getting that blood sugar down and that blood pressure down. We can now function. We can now excrete the toxins in your bodies from months ago that we were holding on to. The liver's like, yo, thank you, Jesus. The liver's like, yo, hallelujah. I'm so happy that you fasted. I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to get rid of the fat that I had in my cells that I was holding on to because you were eating so much. And so now the body starts to function at a higher level. And then when the body starts to function at a higher level and you have all hands on deck, you look at that goal or that obstacle in your head and you're like, what's good? What's good? You sure you want to stand in the way? I did a live stream with the brother Jerome from Rome Herbalites. If you haven't checked out that live stream, check it out. I believe it's on his page. I'll try to repost it. But I was telling him, many of us have never actually met ourselves. When it comes to something like vitamin D, which is a hormone D, is not having healthy levels of hormone D is not a good idea. It is a law. Our body needs hormone D. Every single cell, organ in the body requires vitamin D. If you don't have sufficient amount of vitamin D, whatever the function of that organ or that cell is, will always be suboptimal. If it is a pancreas cell, if it's an isolate inside of a pancreas cell, it's supposed to secrete insulin. If you're vitamin D deficient, whatever the 100% functioning capacity of that isolate cell will always be below 100. It'll always be below 60. It'll always be relative to whatever the resources that it needs, whatever it has. So if we multiply that by trillions, because we have 37 trillion cells, some say 100 trillion cells. I'm not exactly sure what the number is. But all of those cells have needs. Water, nutrients, vitamin D. It has needs. And if those needs are not being met, whatever the full functional capacity of that cell, it will never operate at that level until it has its needs met. And so most of us are walking around functioning at a very low level. And I don't mean that like as a jab or, I'm better or anything like that, because even I'm functioning at a lower level. I'm positive my lack of sleep has me functioning at a lower level. But I'm willing to do some sacrifices. But what I'm saying that to say this: until we have given the body all the resources that it requires, that it demands, the minerals, the vitamins, the fiber, all of the nutrients, the sunlight, the fresh air, the fresh water, the movement, it is safe to say that you never met yourself. If you are someone who knows that you are a lack in all of those areas, you don't know yourself. Because trust me, when you start doing the fasting, you start doing the walking, you start doing the water, you start doing the fiber, you start doing these things, and your body's functional capacity starts increasing, or your functional rate starts increasing and increasing. You go from 20% to 25%. The gap between the 5% move up. You're gonna feel like, yo, what the hell? I can think clearer. I feel clearer. I don't really know how to explain it, but I feel clearer. You can be like, yo, when 9 o'clock came around, I was always tired. I used to get tired at work, but now I'm like awake. I feel energized. I feel more energetic. Where do you think that's coming from? That's coming from one of those organ systems operating at a higher level. And they're operating at a higher level because something in it or around it has improved. The environment has improved. We wouldn't expect a child who is going to a school where bombs are going off, gunshots are going off, they have no books, the teacher is talking on the cell phone, there's no board, there's no paper, pencil, they're not even being taught. Like, if that child fails, we're like, yeah, duh, like, the kid didn't have the resources. What do you expect? Well, we have to ask the same question for our body. When we don't have the proper resources, what do you expect? And if that child continues to go through life in that environment where there's gunshots and bombs going off around the school, police sirens, the teachers on the phone, text messaging, there's no books, there's no paper, there's no pencil, like nobody's teaching the child. If the child goes through life like that, we pretty much know that the outcome. We would think that it's a miracle if this child becomes a genius. And so that's one of those assumptions that we would make because we can kind of see the trajectory. Well, we should kind of see the trajectory for a body that consistently does not have the resources, consistently does not have the proper amount of fiber, consistently does not have the proper amount of water, consistently is not getting the proper amount of vitamin D, hormone D. We've had that trajectory wiped away from us and replaced with this idea that as long as you take these medications and as long as you go to your doctor every 3 to 6 months, you're going to be healthy. You might be alive, but healthy and being alive are two different things. Living and being alive is different. And so we have to kind of really start to really appreciate the macro and the micro. Micro situations and applying it to our body, or macro situations and applying it to our body. We understand when we look out among us and we see certain situations, we're like, yeah, I know how that's going to turn out. I know how that's going to turn out. You're not teaching the kid anything? I'm willing to bet that this is going to turn out this way unless somebody intervenes. Well, if your body needs fiber and your body needs these minerals I've been telling you about, I pretty much know how things are going to go if nobody's going to intervene and give it what it needs. You are the person who needs to intervene, and you are the person who has to give it what it needs. If your body is divided, it's not going to stand. It's going to be just right for the healthcare system to take advantage of you. I told y'all, the system needs food. And it eats people and patients who are not empowered and educated about health. I know it doesn't sound nice to hear, but it's true. Just think about how many of us believe that preventable conditions run in our family, and that is something that we are just going to get. Just think about how many of us believe that there's not too much we can do to stop type 2 diabetes from happening. Just think about how many of us believe that once we get these conditions, we just have to manage it, and there's nothing we can do to reverse it. How many of us believe that the medications we're taking on a daily basis, which is giving us side effects, which is making us feel slower, lightheaded, dizzy, giving us brain fog, causing erectile dysfunction, how many of us believe that is the right thing to do and that it's actually making us healthy? They need food. And so in order for them to have that food and keep that conveyor belt running, they have to continue the miseducation process. The miseducation process is, it runs in your family. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not your fault. We're going to take care of you. Here's this medication. Make sure you take your medication. Come here and get this shot. Follow up in 3 months. Follow up in another 3 months. Take your medication. We got to increase your medication. We have to add on another medication. We have to increase your medication that we increased the last time. And we have to add on 2 other medications. We have to have a procedure. We have to give you a stent. We have to send you over here for this procedure. And it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. At some point, we have to understand that just because it looks fancier and the lies are just more advanced, we have to understand that just because the lie is fancier and more advanced, that does not represent you getting healthy or any of the patients getting healthier. It's not the same thing. If you're going to be taking these medications and doing these procedures on a daily basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, or whatever it is, you should really question where the results are. The only time you're going to see the results is when you actually work on the lifestyle. The only time you're going to see the results is when you get rid of the distraction and you unify the house. You know, I haven't seen the movie yet. Me and my daughter are going to watch it. Black Messiah, the Judas story. I haven't seen it yet, right? But I love Fred Hampton. I love his story. I love Malcolm X. Love his story. You know, I have people in history who I appreciate so much. And I haven't seen the movie, but I get the gist of it. And it's something that happens all the time. It's a plan that works damn near every single time, unless the people or the organization that they're working against understands that that's going to happen. But division always works for the most part, unless people are prepared to unify in face of division. And so I know with the Fred Hampton story, they put a dude right next to him as his best friend, as his homie, as his right-hand man, to stab him in the back, to cause division amongst the group. Same thing with Malcolm X. Same thing with MLK. Same thing with so many of the great leaders. When people start getting on purpose and putting in that work, we got to slow them down. And we know we can't slow them down ourselves. We got to send people that look just like you. We have to send people that is, very familiar to go amongst you, sow division, and then start to stand back and watch it fall and be like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Y'all can't get it together. And so that division, that distraction is the foods, is the drinks, is their way of life in general. The Western way of life when it comes to the foods and the drink and the lack of movement. That is the distraction that we are bringing into our house. We're bringing into our body. And that distraction is dividing the body, because the body's like, GI system's like, oh, here we go again with this BS, man. All right, yo, bring the blood flow. Stop the autophagy. I was doing autophagy. I was preparing these cells. I was making sure that we break down and get this old waste out of the body so that we can function optimal. But hold off on that, because I got to break this down. Your liver's like, oh, here we go again with this food. So stop the de novo lipogenesis. Hold on, wait. Stop the lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat. I was breaking down the fat and getting out the liver, but stop that, because we're about to store fat. So stop that process. Let's store the fat. The workers are like, but if we store more fat, we're gonna slow down our function. Like, we're not gonna function at the same rate. I know, but he or she's eating again, even though he or she just ate 2 hours ago. Well, he or she was told by their practitioner that they should be eating every 2 to 3 hours. He or she was told by their practitioner that you can have sugar-free drinks. And this process is spread amongst the body. All your organ systems are going to feel the effects of the food. All your body parts, all your organs are going to feel the effects of this distraction that is dividing it amongst itself. And with that division amongst itself and amongst the organs, they'll never be able to get on one tune and march toward the purpose, the goal, the vision that you, the leader, has set for itself. And when we look at it, the organs, the cells are willing to put in that work. Like, they're like, yo, we willing to put in the work. But your leader is leading us to hell. Like, where are you leading us? Like, where are you taking us? You claim we're going to go here, but have you been infiltrated? Have you been infiltrated? And the answer for many of us is yes. Subconsciously, we have been infiltrated with this Western program of living this life like them. That is the infiltration. That is your Judas. Your subconscious mind has been infiltrated by this system, and now is sitting right next to you, telling you, hey, I think we should make this move. Yo, that juice right there, yo, they said it got vitamin C in it. Drink it. Yeah, you know what? This juice has vitamin C, has potassium. You should be drinking this all day long. It's like a vitamin drink 24/7. Like, never mind the sugar that's in it, never mind the preservatives, never mind all the ingredients in it. Drink it. Oh, look at this food right here. This Twinkie. They added some fiber to the Twinkie. You should eat that. That's a good idea. Yeah? And you're like, my right-hand man wouldn't lead me the wrong way. All right, let's do it. And so while you think that you're going towards your goal and you're living on purpose and you're being advised by the subconscious mind that has been infiltrated with the system, you're really leading yourself to demise. Like, you're leading yourself to a cliff. And the cells are trying to figure out, man, this guy told us that we're going to build a business. This guy told us that we're going to start an organization. This guy told us that we're going to be the best husband ever. Like, we're going to be the best wife. Like, this guy told us that we're going to do these things. But, man, the actions and the food that he's bringing in here and the drinks that he's bringing in here and the conversations that he's engaging in and the people who are talking to him are like the lowest of the lowest of the low. How are we going to ever move forward? But your cells are riders. They're like, well, maybe it's part of the plan. I don't know, but we got a job to do. We agreed to do the job. Let's go ahead and just clean it up. And this happens day after day after day, month after month after month, year after year after year. Judas is infiltrated, and it has divided the body. You have to question what it is. What is the vision that you have for your body, for your health? And I don't mean like six-pack abs, you get snatched. Like, what is the vision, or what are you going to use the vessel for? I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 89, 99. Like, you have good wisdom in you. I'm sure you do, that you could be putting out there. So, but when you don't acknowledge that vision, that purpose, then it's easy to fall into that place of just wandering, just going along with whatever. It's easy to just fall right into that and just kind of just, wander around. And when you wander around, those folks, the system sees you and they're like, yeah, look at them out there wandering around. No direction, no sense of purpose, no goal. That's what we like. Get them. Bring them in here. What are we going to put them on? What kind of medication we can get started on? Hydrochlorothiazide, the Betalol, metformin, amlodipine. What are we going to get them started on? Get them started on something. And then when you bring them back, increase that dose. Don't tell them nothing about food. Don't tell them nothing about minerals. Don't tell them nothing about exercise. Because you start doing that, they might get healthy and then mess around and figure out they got a purpose and mess around, get on their path and get on their work. We can't have none of that. We can't have none of that. Your purpose is being food for us so that we can carry out our purpose. Your purpose is being food. That's how these folks think. If you look at how they move and their actions, I mean, tell me where I'm lying. So that's it, y'all. A house divided amongst itself cannot stand, and neither can your body. What is your vision? What is your purpose for your body, for your health? Where do you want it to go? Where are you working on taking this whole thing? Do you plan on taking it somewhere? Because if you don't have plans, and this is something, I don't know who told me this. Somebody old told me this. But if you don't have plans for yourself, they do. Oh, you don't know what to do with all that energy you got and all that aggression? Okay, cool. We definitely can fill these prisons up and use some workers. You don't got a plan. We got one. So what is the plan that you have for yourself? Because if you don't have a plan for yourself, then you won't see a purpose in you having a plan for the body. The body is the vessel to carry out the plans. But if you don't have a plan, you may not see a purpose in really giving the body a vision. And once you figure out where it is you have, and you don't have to be clear on it. That's the thing. And that's one of the things that really took a lot off of me was I was in the beginning, I was not clear. I had no idea exactly where I'm going. And even right now, I'm not extremely clear. But there are some big things that I'm very clear on. The health of our community, the black community is in shambles. Got to fix that. We eat incredibly too much. Got to fix that. The food, like there's certain things that I have that I'm very, very clear on. And I stand firm and strong on that. And so I build off of that. And I would recommend that you do the same thing. You may not know, you may not be incredibly clear about what it is that you have set for yourself or that you want to do. But there's some things that you know that you have a strong affinity to. There's some things that you know that for whatever reason, it really piques your curiosity and you can read about it all night, or you can work on it all night and almost lose time. You should hold on to that because that might end up being a part of the plan or purpose. But overall, you just acknowledging that you do have a purpose, a plan, and a vision does a dramatic, like that is huge. That is huge. And that's most likely the first step. Once again, I'm not no guru. I'm just, talking, and not just talking, but I'm working on this book. A lot of these things I'm putting in here. And these are coming from my point of view and some people that I'm learning from, or that I've learned from, which I also mentioned in the book as well. But once you figure out what your plan is for your body, do your actions align up with your plan? Because once again, the leader can say, yo, we going here. But when you look, you're like, yo, we further than we were last month. Last month, we were actually closer. We're further away. And then 6 months goes by, you're like, well, where are we? And you start questioning your head. You're like, is the leader, has he been infiltrated? Is he working against us? Might be. Might got Judas sitting right next to him. I don't know. Might be. So if your vision and your actions that you're taking on a daily basis doesn't line up, you really have to question that. You also have to understand that when you're bringing in those distractions to the body on a daily basis, literally, like I'm not just saying this as a quote, like the body becomes divided. The body has a lot of stuff that it has to fight off, that it has to deal with, a lot of chaos that it has to deal with. High blood sugar is very chaotic for the body. Inflammation is chaotic for the body. Eating multiple times a day is chaotic for the body. The body has to deal with that. And while it's dealing with that, it has to postpone whatever plans you had as pertains to working on your goals or your mission or your purpose. All right? So a house divided can't stand, neither can the body. All right? So let me go back through and read these comments. What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all being here. All right, let's see. Ellen, what's going on? Yes, it's very, very nice out here. I'm in Florida. It's beautiful weather right now for a bike ride. You're right. Oh, yeah, you're in Hallandale. Okay. Yeah, so your weather is probably very similar to mine. House divided cannot fall. All right. Sandra says, got the book and I'm almost done reading it. Beautiful. Good. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you were able to get value from it. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I put in there. You're welcome. What's going on, Regina? Ellen, yo, good. I'm glad you received it. Good. Regina said the doctor told me that my vitamin D was severely low. Yeah. Most of our vitamin D levels are very, very low. In the black community, you're talking about over 85% of us have low vitamin D levels. Now, that may have drastically changed within a year. Within a year, that may have drastically changed because more people are taking vitamin D. Like the whole world is now increasing their vitamin D intake. I will tell you that I knew about this one young black aggressive guy who was screaming from the top of his lungs about the epidemic of vitamin D deficiency in the black community back in 2014. Oh yeah, that was me. But yeah, I'm very, very, very happy to see that more people are taking vitamin D. I don't agree with, okay, so look, I see the 50,000 right here, and this is what I'm about to talk about. I'm taking 50,000 mgs. What's the weight? And she's hoping that it brings it up, and I have 2 more weeks to take it. Okay, Yeah, so, in my opinion, talk to your practitioner. I'm not a fan of those huge amounts of vitamin D at one time. The 50,000. I'm not a fan of that. That makes me very uncomfortable. For those of you who feel, and hopefully this is not your situation, but what they're starting to see is that, once again, the medical system, they got to do the most. People start saying, yo, take vitamin D. The medical system's like, let's give them a lot. We're like 5,000 international units, 10,000 international units. Medical system's like 50, 100,000. Like, that's how those folks go. They want to take a sledgehammer to everything. But what they're starting to see is that, that is causing some issues. So I don't recommend it long term. They're also starting to see that, that huge amount is also causing palpitations of the heart. So where you can actually like feel your heart, skipping and beating real fast. If you notice that, you might want to ease up with the vitamin D, but talk to your practitioner first. Brenda says, how can I get a replay on this? Cannot stay on to hear all of this. Is absolutely amazing. Yeah, Brenda, so I'll leave it up. Brenda says, my email to get this replay. Yeah, Brenda, so it'll be right here for you. I won't delete it. What's going on, Janice? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon. Yeah, if y'all don't mind, if y'all could share this for me, I really appreciate it. What's going on? Patricia. Good afternoon. Thank you. Good. Regina, email me information. Let's see, what was Regina talking about? Email you. I'm not sure which information you're talking about, Regina. Leslie, what's going on? No doubt. When is the book on law coming out? Woo! It has to come out this year. It will come out this year. I'm not sure yet, which I need to put a cap on it. Right now, I'm really trying to identify all the topics that I'm going to address in the book. And then from that identification, I have to like chisel down the things that need to be in there. And then I can set a time limit on how much time I'm going to give myself to put it out. Regina, what was it you wanted me to email to you? I'm not sure. Vadina, you're welcome. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I hope this information was able to plant a seed or help you out in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. But just remember, if you don't have a plan for yourself, them folks got a plan for you. All right, and I believe that your purpose is not to be a part of some system's plan. Maybe somebody else, but not an actual system. All right, so get your house united, get your body united. Okay, I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. Remember, as always, our community, our responsibility. We have what it takes. Let's put in that work. All right, peace. Health is my birthright. All right, information on vitamin D. So if you have the book, Regina, it's in the book. Also, I have multiple videos. If you go to my YouTube, I have the videos categorized in a playlist. I would definitely recommend starting over there, all right? I also have some blogs on vitamin D as well, all right? So I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.